Hello, welcome to Melanin and Albinoid Live. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. Cheers. To the English speaking, Prost. To the German speaking, Salute. To the Spanish speaking. Well, thank you for joining me again this year on Melanin and Albinoid Live. It has been a really tough journey, 2020. Thank God, 2020 is gone. Well, we have another chance, 2021, to renew our strength, to focus more on God, to dedicate more time on our knees. Well, today, as always, on my blog, I talk about the gang stalking program, the racist system, and the abuse of the fundamental human right. But this year, I don't want to focus so much on what they are doing, what is being done, but how do we deprogram our mind? A woman once said that she helped so many slaves, she would have helped more, only if they knew they were slaves. Well, that's a reality to so many melanin people today. They don't even realize they're under bondage, they're under a slavery programming, which started so many years ago in the late 18th century when Africa was invaded. Well, one of the things being used today is that Africa is under colonization, or slavery is actually the beginning of our history, cutting out, systematically and cunningly cutting out the traumatic bewitchment invasion that Africans went through. Well, today on Melanin and Albinoid Live, I will be taking you to how to deprogram the racist system. Now, join me. Happy New Year. I'm just going to leave my Happy New Year crown. You know, you can see the Happy New Year crown. I'm just going to leave the crown like that, you know, and well, I'm wishing you Happy New Year. Well, I will be teaching you about how to deprogram the racist system from our mind. First of all, a program is actually properly thought about and inculcated in the mindset in this case. Now, what is the programming? Well, first thing, Africa, we have to understand that was invaded. There was nothing like colonization, anything, you know, any name, any tag being given to what happened in Africa, like colonization and slavery, whatever. It's just part of the programming. When you say you are colonized by somebody, automatically, mentally, you see that person as your superior, somebody to learn from. But reverse is the case. As I prepared a video actually, but I've not uploaded it yet. Last year, December, actually, I've not uploaded it yet, video, but the video will give you more details of what the invasion was all about. When Africa was invaded in the 18th century, part of the invasion was to actually bewitch the Africans. That was actually why the invasion was successful. First of all, in the meeting that was held in Berlin, Germany, in the house of the chancellor then, was Bismarck is his name, von Bismarck. You know more in details about that. I don't want to put that in here. You know, when after the meeting, there was agreement, a brotherhood agreement. Fraternity was actually created like a secret society. And we know what secret society is all about. They created this secret society. And the first thing is that they realized that this same dark-skinned melanin people in Africa, West Africa, is actually the same people that migrated from, that forcefully migrated from Israel when the Roman army attacked Israel. Well, then Jesus said we should flee. That was the instruction. And Those that stayed back was captured and used as gladiators, or they were killed in Israel. Those of us that were ancestors actually fled, listened to the voice of Jesus, they fled towards Africa, and they become productive because we are actually the chosen generation, the royal priesthood. Just like we built Egypt in the time of slavery, we built Greece, we've been building and building all our life. Now we got the territory in Africa and we started building, and when the Europeans came, they were marveled at what they actually saw in Africa. Well, their strategy now is to invade us. They actually tried before in the early 18th century, they tried so many times, but we had higher technology. So anyway, after several attempts, they came peacefully. And that peaceful invitation, we taught them things, technology, because actually Europe was actually a poor territory, a poor continent. So we being the richer continent, Africa, till today, we've been the richer continent, having the control over the continent, because the real Africans, I've said so many things about that, I'm not going to go too much into that details. The real Africans are not us. We, melanin, in West Africa are Hebrews. We are Hebrews from Israel. We are, temporarily in Africa. But anyway, we dominated there also. We created technology and all kind of things. When the invasion came, I just want to give you a summary before I go into the reprogramming. When after the invasion, and we were, first of all, bewitchment, okay? Africa was bewitched, okay? After the bewitchment, then they invaded us, and after invasion, the invasion was a traumatic invasion. First of all, they stripped us of any kind of clothing, using shame as a form of attack, which is still used today. Shame to humiliate us totally and completely. So we were actually forbidden of wearing any clothes. And the African women were repeatedly sexually molested by the Europeans. The men also, and children, nobody was spared from this sexual molestation. Well, that still happens till today. Then, afterwards, the mental programming started, okay? Remember how we were captured is through bewitchment and traumatized invasion. Traumatized invasion. And after that, those steps have been accomplished, then the mental programming started. And the mental programming has actually been improved till today. It has actually gotten out of hand to today, because everywhere you go to, there is this racist system programming. If you put on the TV, the racist system programming is there. The programming is to slander our character, to place us in a class with a bad reputation, to stigmatize us, to associate us with everything bad, everything criminal, everything evil, when actually the reverse is the case. Well, how to deprogram ourselves from all this bull crap is, first of all, most Africans today are under serious, I want to say bewitchment, serious programming, that they see oppressors as savior. They don't even understand between the difference between the two any longer. And it is a constant attack, a constant harassment, constant persecution. And this actually is meant to establish the programming in our mind. When we are targeted for persecution, we are targeted for assault, we are maligned, we are blackballed from the society, we are ridiculed, we are pushed into an unemployment, and actually a project has been created for the melanin people, okay? And because of that, most melanin has even given up trying again. They just let anybody guide them into any direction, where you should live, how you should live. If you are to work, and what kind of work you should work, what you should study in the school, and if you actually go against their will and study what you're not supposed to study, they will make sure whatever you study, you don't make use of it, okay? And that's why you find the unemployment rate of the melanin people is the highest in the world. How come? We are the race that was used as slaves. We are the race that built Egypt. We are the race that built America, built the White House, built Europe, built everywhere. How come we are the highest in unemployment rate? It is part of the racist system to control us with poverty. Okay? Because we are not meant to actually have our own wealth. We are just meant to be used and abused, and they will just throw once in a while maybe a loaf of bread for us to survive on, at least to have enough energy to continue to be slaves. We are restricted, we are maligned, we are oppressed continuously, we are assaulted, we are persecuted, we are criminalized, and they are trying to force most melanin to have a bad record, to even falsify records to push us into imprisonment. All this programming, the law enforcement, assault and abuse and all kind of things is part of the racist system. Now, in America, for example, the ones we see the most, that is well documented, where police officers just shoot melanin people for shooting's sake. Not because of anything. For shooting's sake. Just because they want to shoot him. Look at the guy that just died, the one that the police had his knee on his neck. The story of the guy was that he actually worked as a security guard with the police before in a nightclub. The George guy that died last year I believe, or 2 years ago, I can't remember again, or last year or 2 years ago. No, it did last year. I remember it was during the pandemic. He worked as a security man with the police officer. Now he's I believe that was actually what motivated him. As a security guy, the guy was huge, was bolder. Maybe they've even had some things in the past that he saw the superiority. Now wearing a police uniform, he used the opportunity actually to take his life. That my life, your life is in my hand right now. There's nothing you can do about it because I wear a uniform of permit to assassinate you without any penalty. So this has actually troubled the melanin race for a very long time. The melanin male are targeted even before they become teenage. They're messed up in their mind, and if they're not messed up in their mind, they are actually lured away into the path of destruction. The melanin women are targeted for being a slut. Ways are being created for that. No, slut does not mean just somebody that has financial situation and they have to do something. No. You can even see professional slut. In the sense that slut is not just when you see a woman selling herself. When you don't respect yourself as a woman and you allow yourself. I use the word allow because I know situation can force you into position sometimes, but you allow yourself to take the bait of Satan, which is planted by the racist system. To be sexual instruments, just like what happened in the 18th century. In the late 18th century, that the melanin women as slaves, they were captured away and used, are pimped by the Europeans. They were pimped by the Europeans for the Europeans. And most actually committed suicide. Now, how do we deprogram this bullcrap that has been going on for too long? Well, it's just as simple as it started. Well, when they came to Africa, when they invaded Africa, they started changing the name of Africa. For example, Nigeria was in the Niger area. It was in the Niger area, and Lugard, I won't even use word Lord Lugard. All these things are also programming. When you say Lord, Lord means superiority. Lord means somebody you hold in high esteem. I don't use Lord for any human being. Lugard and his wife, actually with issue that it was the wife that gave the name Nigeria because it's the Niger area. So they gave the name Nigeria. In Ghana, for example, Ghana was Gold Coast. They gave the name Gold Coast. Like you know, all know the story of Kintakunte. The situation of that they were actually trying to give him Tobias. It has now made even YouTube restrict some of my videos and so many people's videos that talk about racism. We're not lying. We're not saying that, but why can't we talk about racism and what is happening, what it's doing to us, and the ridicule, the reproach is bringing upon our race? But you see a situation like Kintakunte, when they say, oh, your name is Tobias, and they were flogging him, it's all over the YouTube. That is offensive. That is a slap on the face, but it's been shown. That is part of the racist system. The mind control, they are repeating it for us to remember the past and to stay in the past. Your name is Tobias. He said, no, my name is Kintakunte. Your name is Tobias. They were going they were going back and forth. But even his own melanin people were telling you, this boy, they would kill you. Just what is in a damn name? Now, what is in a damn name? There is a lot. Your name actually, for example, my name is Abimbola. Abimbola is a name my parents gave me to identify me from my brothers or my sisters. So if they call Abimbola in my family, everybody will not answer. The only person that would answer is me, because I am identified with that name. When you call a place that is, is in the Niger area, then let it be Niger area. But when you call Nigeria, because they are trying to give it their own title, just like they want to criminalize us now, that we are criminals. They have been saying this repeatedly for years. So when you see a melanin person, a melanin man, you say, oh, he's a drug pusher, he's a criminal. When you see a melanin woman, oh, she's an adult, or she's this, or she's that. Because they have been repeating it for years, for decades, for centuries. And when you repeat things long enough, the subconscious accepts it as a reality, even if you repeat a lie. So they've been repeating lies. They've been repeating slanderous remarks against us for years. Right now, it seems you now associate black with negativity, with criminality, with prostitution, with peddling of drugs. Now, the first one is changing the invasion identification code, which is the name they give to us. Africa, they must change every African nation name. Like Nigeria. Remove Nigeria and turn it back to Niger area, or we give it a name ourselves. That is how you remove yourself from bondage. You reprogram your mind. The identification code is the name Nigeria instead of Niger area, Ghana instead of Gold Coast, and so many others like that. We need to change the tag. That is an invasion identification code. As long as we have the name they give to us, we act the way they want us to behave. One, we have to change it. Then two, changing laws, constitution and policies created. Now, when an invader came, they raped us, they stripped off of everything. They've been looting Africa from the time they invaded us till today. Even foreign government have their money, their name in all this francophone country. They use French franc. You are an African country, you are using French franc. How logical is that? That is not colonization. That is complete dominion. So, when you change the laws, constitution, and policies that was created, any constitution in Africa that was created by the invaders, what do you think? I don't even need to blog about this. It is just common sense. Any constitution that invaders wrote, it is to their favor, not to the favor of the nation. They were never in our favor. They never invaded us to take care of us or because they love us. They invaded us because they wanted our properties, they wanted our our land, they wanted our natural resources, and they wanted to abuse us as a race. That's all. That's the reason we were invaded. So why should we have a constitution that favors the invaders? Invaders that sexually molested us, that morally molested us, that psychologically ruined us. Basically, as I was saying, that the changing of laws, constitution, and policies created by the invaders is absolutely necessary for us to move forward as a nation. For example, the constitution I spoke about, the constitution actually favors invaders and the nationals, it doesn't favor. That's supposed to be changed totally and completely. The laws also, and also our policies, especially the international policies that was created by the invaders, automatically favors them, and it must be changed. Then the next one is the mind control educational system. The educational system is a total mind control, starting from the history. The history of the melanin race has always been during the, our life started during the slave trade. The slave trade was actually, the way it happened, it's not a slave trade. The video I said I prepared, I have not titled it yet. I would have told it its title, but I'm going to upload it probably after this one. I'm wearing a kind of red top, whatever there. It is not slave trade. It was a bewitchment, traumatic invasion that actually, through the traumatic experiences suffered by the melanin people, we were vulnerable and taken everywhere in the world. Of course, not willfully, but unwillfully taken all over the world, because already we were a profoundly terrorized and traumatized race. So it is not slave trade. It is actually capturing people that has actually been wounded tremendously. So the mind control educational system teach that the beginning of the melanin history is during the slavery. That's absolutely not true. Apart from history, there are so many things also. The geography is total fabrication and twisted situation that is absolutely not correct. And we have other, all the subject, biology, chemistry, and so many other things that needs to be looked into. Because one thing also, for those of African citizens that are actually educated from back home, graduated, and they came abroad, everyone will tell you that you were forced to actually take other lessons to be able to qualify for them. But if you school here already, it's an automatic thing. But if you bring any certificate from Africa, they want to do some exams to be able to equal what they have here. And they claim the educational system is the same. How is it the same that when somebody that studied under the educational system you claim is the same in Africa brings it abroad and you need to do exams? This is actually another mind control, the racist system, programming mind control. And the educational system in Africa must be totally changed. Totally. It must be changed. Then we have the international relationship strategy. The international relationship strategy, especially I'm talking about international market now. The international market always favor the outsiders. How come? We have the natural resources in Africa. For example, we have COVID in Congo. The COVID in Congo is used to do this telephone we all have today with the iPhone and all this phone. The raw material is COVID is taken from Congo. When you talk about Cameroon, you talk about Senegal, they have also cocoa to make coffee and things that they have the best there. But all those things are exploited, taken abroad, and they make billions out of it while they take it. Even in Cameroon, I heard about the exploitation of Cameroon children. You have the Gold Coast, Ghana. The Gold Coast has gold. We have Libya, which has a lot of diamond. But all these things have been exploited for years. But because our international relationship strategy is not coherent, it's also always a strategy that has been focused in to the advantage of the invaders, because that's how we've been brainwashed. I won't say taught, because we taught the Europeans how to read and write. We taught the Europeans technology. We taught the Europeans beauty kits, beauty, natural things we use for beauty. We taught them, we educated them. So it's not possible people we educate now educate us. What happened is that we were bewitched, invaded, traumatized. Okay? So the international relationship strategy must change. They don't call the shot. We have the natural resources. We have the gold. We have the diamond. We have the petroleum. We have the carbon. We have everything. We have the cacao. We have everything. Their life depend on. Why are they calling the shot? The international strategists in Africa must use common sense how they advise the leaders. First of all, we need to get rid of all the bad leaders. And all the leaders, it is very important we know that we need to celebrate the leaders, the African leaders that are trying their best, okay? So, then we have a total denial of every international influence in a national matters. Well, one of the programming is that they actually treat us like kids. Like, I'm a 49-year-old person, but they treat us like a kid. Not because they know we're a kid, because when they reduce you, you see, they degrade. Part of the programming is to degrade us, to degrade our men, to degrade the women. Because once you are degraded, you don't look at MJ, for example. MJ, anybody under their 24 hours surveillance, and I won't use the word care, you always see them. They have this childlike attitude. I can call so many names, but I choose not to. So they degrade us. It's part of the programming to reduce you, to reduce your mental, to reduce you connecting to your mental capabilities. How come people we trained now claim as if they are superior? And one thing is that when we totally deny every international influence in our national matters, we will have a better life. Because when we allow an oppressor, an invader, into our national matters, that means we're giving them power to control within. I've never seen any African president being called to suggest something in international matters of the Europeans or anywhere else in the world. One day, I think it was the Somalia or Eritrea government, one tall looking president like that in Africa. Sometimes he wears military attire and everything like that. I don't know if he's a military man. I will look it up. This man actually challenged one of these conferences they had. He said, we're tired of Africans that Europeans boss us around and, treat us as if they are talking to kids. Yes, we must actually tell them, pump and plain, you mind your business in your country, we mind our business in our country. Because anything they do, it is to their own. They don't care if we kill ourselves. So basically what happens here is that, for example, when they want natural resources, most of the time they don't give money. They don't give money. But when you go to Europe to buy things, they always want you to pay or they want you to borrow. So to keep you indebted to them. But they never come to Africa that they want so much amount of diamond or gold or silver or cacao that, okay, they will pay in the next 50 years, and if they can't pay, you have this portion of France or you have this portion of the United Kingdom or whatever. They never have that kind of agreement with you, but they're always putting you in debt, and they always outsmart you in their international market relationship. But I give you some guns, you give me petroleum. What sense, what do you gain with gun? Only to kill yourself. So they give you weapons to kill yourself while they take something from you to build themselves. Okay? So we must actually, a total denial of their international influence in national matters. Then total refusal of international aid, loans, medical assistance, etc. It should be denied. It should be denied totally. There's no program in the world by anybody that is created to favor melanin people in Africa. When you realize that, you don't expect anything from people that have not created anything to favor you. Anything they create, it is out to outsmart us to favor themselves or to place us in debt. Any aids that come from abroad, it's coming to Africa because there's a bigger underground thing they want to export away. When loans are being, like the Chinese loan, so many countries in Africa will cry because this is not a loan, it's a bait of Satan. It's a bait. The loan is a bait. It's not a loan to help you build your country. It is just a bait to keep you indebted, because if you lend from somebody, you are indebted to the person because when you get something from somebody, when you see that person, you're scared. Oh, next week you're supposed to pay the person's money, you cannot pay, and whatever. The person now becomes a terror to you. We should totally refuse aid, loans, medical assistance. Are you kidding me? Medical assistance actually means that to get help from people that actually used us as a guinea pig to practice cesarean. They've been using us to test different vaccines. They've been using us to actually test medication. Some of this medication, they give side effects, giving people polio, giving people even HIV, leukemia, cancer, all kinds of unreasonable and unthinkable diseases. So when you get this medical assistance, that is actually what you risk. Instead of going to build houses with our money in Dubai, in Europe, everywhere in the world, why don't you politicians invest that money back? Because you stole the money. That's why you are afraid to spend it back on the. If as we say in Nigeria, if you have gas, you have home somewhere else. But you don't understand how these things roll. You know, in Congo, Republic of Congo, Zaire, you know the son of the president that kept a lot of, I don't want to mention anybody's name, he kept a lot of money in Switzerland. When he died, Switzerland sat on the money. When the son escaped from his country and he targeted to go to Switzerland, knowing that his father has money and probably he has some money there also, Switzerland denied him of international protection. It's obvious why. If they give him international protection, the next thing is he will start seeking the wealth he has there and the one the father had. So they need to deny him immediately and maybe probably start telling him and looking for a way his country will capture him back so that the money will be gone forever. That's how it works. If you build houses, also the same thing. We know the story of this Osh Poppy or whatever. We know the story. The guy was not wise. He actually felt that he's safer in the hands of people that don't even want you to be equal with them, and you go around, you spend 100,000 in a sitting, even $500,000 to shop in a sitting, and you think they're happy. Well, the result of his unwise decision to stay in an environment where you're not loved. He believed they love him. That is actually what happens. So we have a total rejection of humanitarian approach. The humanitarian approach, like in the 18th century, in the house of the vice chancellor in Berlin, Germany, the humanitarian approach was actually what actually they gave as an excuse for the invasion. So every humanitarian approach is always a lie. There's 90% lies behind it. So that also must. Okay, so the next one now is to take total control of international market relationship in regards to our national resources. I spoke about that here in the influence in the national matters. So to take control of the international market relationship is very important. We call the shot. We have the natural resources. They want, they depend on. If we say we're not selling, they have to negotiate because they need it desperately. But we always give it to them as if we're even begging them to please buy from us. No, they need it. If we don't buy, if we don't sell to them, they will look for a way to have an agreement with us because they need it. They can't do without what they're exploiting in Congo to make the cell phones. And you have even what they use in making the atomic bomb and things like that. We have everything. So we need to know what we have, the international values, and how to strike deals. They don't call the shot. We call the shot. So we have stopped buying liability in exchange of our natural resources. I spoke about that also. I jumped the gun. About taking guns and giving petroleum, giving diamond, giving gold, giving cobalt, giving all kinds of natural resources and taking guns. What have you achieved in gun? They give you gun to kill yourself and they take something to build themselves. They build their nation on our ignorance and stupidity. So any president that is bloodthirsty for war, get him out of there. Get him out of there. If what they said Idi Amin did was true, I'm not in favor of any kind of cruel behavior, but Idi Amin still had certain things. He focused that he said Ugandans will not go abroad and become a slave.
British handed over on the 9th of October 1962, the Uganda still not yet independent. Uganda will be independent after this, my decision, after I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians. It must be proper black and administration in those shops is run by the Ugandans.
Would you like to get all Asians out, really, sir?
Yes, they must go to their country.
Even nationals of Uganda?
If they want to go, they are welcome to go.
What will happen to these people if they don't go by the time they
I think they will be sitting like they are sitting on the fire. I will tell you this. You just wait after 3 months.
What will you do to them?
Okay, you will see.
You said you wanted Uganda.
I think they will not sit comfortable here in Uganda. I will tell you this. I must actually tell you the truth.
Because he's seen what they've done for years. And he had the desire to establish Uganda with his decisions. It was cruel, but he had achieved something. So the last on the list is African leaders should unite to decide for the welfare of Africa and stop international interference. Which means, simple thing is that African leaders should meet at least maybe quarterly, maybe once in 3-4 months, or twice a year, or once a year. Meet. You see, the European leaders, they always meet. Apart from the meeting they had in Berlin, Germany in the late 18th century, that they decided the fate how to destroy Africa and to make us a complete liability, destabilize the stable, disoriented, demolished, and just total trauma. They have a regular meeting to update the decision of Berlin, Germany in the 18th century. You need to update yourself on how to strategize, how to protect Africa, the future of the African youth, because you see, they are stealing your youth away and they are not even appreciating the youth abroad. The youth are the leaders of tomorrow. So if they steal all your youth away, you are left with adults Because even they're stealing your professionals away. All the doctors in America, for example, doctors in America, majority of them are from Africa. Majority from Nigeria, to be precise. The highest educated immigrants in America are Nigerians. So we have to, our leaders, stop all the bullshit, hatred or whatever. We don't need it. We need to unite. Leaders need to unite, come together. Whether you like yourself or not, that's not important. When you're in a meeting with somebody you hate, you don't care. What is important is how to be successful in the strategy, market strategy, or whatever strategy you're trying to actually create in that meeting, or what you're trying to achieve in that meeting. Your personal opinion or in sentiment towards somebody does not matter. After you finish the business, get into your car, get away. Don't even say hi to the person. That's how it works. And that's how we can actually deprogram the system from our mind. Then also, in the part 2 of this, I will now show you personal deprogramming. This is actually the continent deprogramming for the nations in Africa. Then there's personal deprogramming, like name calling, nappy hair, all these things. They're also programming. Look at my own beautiful melanin hair. What is nappy about it? But that's what they want you to actually believe. Because once you have nappy hair, automatically they're telling you you have a brain of shit brain. Because if you have nappy is made to collect shit. So indirectly, they're calling you shit brain. You don't know, and you even call yourself nappy hair, and you call yourself bitches and things like that. And this is what actually they've been using you for. They've been pimping you out and taking you and using you as a sexual slut and things like that. That's what they've been doing for years. Now they've programmed your mind to think like a bitch. You're not just thinking like it, you call yourself one. You're a bad bitch, you're a this bitch and everything like that. It has now become like, almost not even a slang, almost a kind of a title. If you call me a bitch or whatever, I'll give you a knock on your head. But I don't see myself as one. I am not one. I don't talk like one. I don't act like one. I don't dress like one. If you call me one, you will have a problem. A serious problem. So, I will give in the part 2 personal deprogramming, okay? So anyway, that's it for today on Melanin and Albinoid Live. I am Lady Abimbola. As usual, I always say the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So, face your fears, elevate your mind, and resist every temptation to panic. I will see you in the next vlog. Happy New Year once again, and take care of yourself. Cheers.